We also have our ABC News contributors, former Chief of Detectives for the NYPD, Bob Boyce, and former Acting Undersecretary for Intelligence for the Department of Homeland Security, John Cohen. So, gentlemen, you heard the press conference as well. A lot to talk about here. Bob, let's start with you. This is tough because as a parent, and your child is living in your home, to think that there were 7 firearms hidden and scattered throughout that house. I can't even imagine how these parents are feeling and thinking, but boy, that really stood out to me, the fact that these firearms were in the home, that the parents thought the one firearm that their daughter had originally was sold because she was under doctor's care for emotional disorder. We didn't know that either, Bob, what exactly Audrey Hale was dealing with. And now we are learning more. I guess not surprising considering what happened. We knew that there was definitely something deeper going on here.
Yeah, so a lot of information in the last 24 hours, and Chief Drake did a really nice job. Some personal conversation about the interview with the parents, came across that information that she was acquiring weapons, that the weapons she had the 9mm pistol, which, by the way, is standard carry for police officers. That's the handgun. I carried it myself, actually, on the job. And also the the long arms. The pistol caliber 9mm, I believe that's a Kel-Tec from people I'm talking about, and also the M4 weapon that she had as well. She really was roaming those buildings looking to kill people. She was mobile, and of course she was firing through doors. That's what killed Mike. So there's so terrible things we just talked about in the last 24 hours that we came across. Here's one thing that I just want to bring up is the fact that had they known, could they have done anything? And Chief Drake said basically they could have intervened, but they had no law to remove those guns. They're not one of the red flag states. There's only 19 states that have red flag laws that would, if someone who's emotionally incapacitated, guns can be removed from them. So I think there's a key point or a takeaway on this. The parents knew she had emotional problems and also knew she was acquiring weapons. They just thought, yeah, got rid of them. So interesting points as we go forward here. Could this have been prevented had we had these red flag laws throughout all 50 states, which we don't. We only have 19.
So could it have been prevented, Bob? Because I'm trying to piece this together. Let's say, okay, the parents knew Audrey did have a firearm. The parents were well aware that their daughter was under a doctor's care for emotional disorder, a daughter who had threatened suicide before. You know, in a situation like that, is it the parents' responsibility to somehow get that on record? Kind of connect the dots here for what the parents knew about weapons, about emotional state of the child living in their home. What could have been done that possibly would have alerted 5 different gun stores that this was a young person they shouldn't be selling a gun to?
It's a great question. It's right now it's a constitutional carry state, Tennessee, so she could walk into a gun store without any other outside interference and apply for a gun and get one. So they're easily accessible here. What needs to happen is someone who's under mental stress is being treated for it. Should parents need to move forward? This is if we take one thing away from this entire horrible incident, this should go forward. If someone's in your house and you're responsible because she's living under your roof, and they have emotional problems, and you're not looking at those guns in the house, that's a problem. Look at also the fact, this is a manifesto here. She had planned this. She had spoken to her girlfriend just moments before she went in as well. That came up too. The chief didn't bring that up, and no one asked the question. That she had spoken to her girlfriend, said she was going to die. So she had these really dark issues within her. And just as a quick thought, the police officers on the response, just amazing work. You know, it really is a template for everyone across the country to see their courage and their tactical awareness when they took that door. So these things all need to be talked about, and always transforming the protocol into more accurate things. Get the shot spotters, get there faster. All these things need to be done. We can do better, but the parents, it starts in the home. Unfortunately, they should have had some ability to think through this and educate themselves to stop this.
John, your thoughts? I mean, I guess what I want to try to push the conversation toward is what could have been done differently on behalf of, it sounds like it started in the home with the parents, right? Because the parents knew about the doctor's care, knew about the previous weapon, other guns scattered throughout the house. So if it wasn't the purchase of the gun, if something could have been done to prevent the purchase of the gun, it sounds like it's really the parents' responsibility, right? At this stage. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the more we learn, and we have a ways to go, the more we're seeing that this individual's behavioral characteristics are consistent with pretty much every other mass shooter that's conducted an attack over the last 5 or 6 years. And there is a lot to do, as Bob said, that we can do, as Bob said. Part of it does start with the parents and others in the community who are interacting with this person, who are noticing the warning signs. We've learned that she was under care for behavioral health issues. We know that she has possessed firearms in the past. We know that, or I suspect we will learn more, that she was acting in a more angry or in other ways that caused concerns over the last few days. We haven't heard anything about her online activity, but that's being looked at as well. And very often that online activity is a good indicator that a person may be getting closer towards committing an act of violence. So to your question, what can be done is there are jurisdictions out there like New York City, Los Angeles, and others who not only work closely with families and others in the community so that they can recognize the warning signs of someone who may be traveling down the path toward violence, but they also have a range of activities, whether it be mental health care, whether it's working with the family, whether it's working with social service providers, faith leaders, and others to address those underlying issues. And if I can also echo what Bob said, the red flag laws are critically important. This is a way with due process where law enforcement or a family can go to the courts, they could present information regarding the concern for violence, and then a court can restrict access to firearms.
Point well made. That's something we should discuss more about, indeed. And yeah, it's tough because everything is different state to state, right? Well, we will keep the conversation going for sure. Jacqueline, thank you so much. Bob, John, I appreciate all three of you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.